What is going on, guys? It is I would say it's a nice day for Massachusetts.
64 degrees, yeah.
64 degrees, which is very pleasant compared to the weather that we've been having around here lately. And because of the fact that we're having such good weather, we were trying to go to the park again, but this happened. As you see back there, let me zoom into that. You see that right there? He's falling asleep before we even get to the park. But anyways,
there's a reason he fell asleep, though.
There is a reason why he fell asleep. He had an allergic reaction earlier, so he had some baby Benadryl. So it was about time that he fell asleep.
Baby Benadryl. He had his food, his bottle, and he has to take a nap today. And he takes a nap usually around 12, and it's like around 1, almost 2.
It's about to be 2. But anyways, I wanted to take today to shoot some footage on the camera that I'm currently using. I wanted to do kind of a review. Cops flying down the road. I wanted to do a review on the Canon EOS M50, which is the camera that everybody's talking about, and I wanted to kind of give you guys some pros and maybe 1 or 2 cons to this camera. I absolutely love it. I traded from my 80D to this, and a lot of it had to do with the weight, because carrying around an 80D with a 10 to 18 millimeter lens, it looks great as far as the image quality, but when you're carrying it around, it gets heavy. So we're headed to the park right now. I'm gonna be able to shoot some footage over there while we're there. But like I said, the first reason why, one of the, I guess, pros you could say about this camera is the size. Are you all right? Can you hold your phone?
I'm gonna drive.
So the size is definitely probably one of the biggest reasons, one of the biggest things that I love about this camera. It is very compact. It doesn't take up as much weight as the 80D did, so it's not as, first, awkward to walk around with. Second of all, it's not as uncomfortable to walk around with, because when you're walking around with this huge camera on your arms, it gets exhausting when you're trying to get as much footage and everything as you can. And Gabby's excited about all the motorcycles that are going down the road. Another thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about as to why I switched from the 80D to the M50 is because of the price difference. With the amount that I paid for the 80D and the 10 to 18, I was able to get a lot more than just a camera and a lens. So it was awesome to be able to save some money and save some size when it comes to what I'm walking around with now, trying to vlog and trying to get some footage for you guys. So that was another pro to this camera, as opposed to having an 80D. Another one is the compatibility. Because of the fact that you're able to get a EFM adapter, you're able to pretty much use any Canon EF or EFS lens with this camera. So anytime that you're out shooting with people, or you're hanging out, or you're doing some job and these people are using Canon lenses or Canon EF or EFS lenses, you don't have to worry about the incompatibility with those mounts. So that was another reason why I wanted to get this camera, because I was able to reduce the size that I was walking around with when I was doing regular vlogs, but at the same time be able to have the compatibility to be able to work with other creators when their lens selection is what a lot of creators are using now, which is the Canon EF and EFS lenses. And something new that I found in this camera is that for the autofocus, it also has eye detection, which I thought was pretty cool, which the 80D didn't have. So it was cool to see that being brought into a smaller, more compact body. Besides it also having a ton of autofocus points, more autofocus points than the 80D, which is also another pro. It was good to just have all of that capability in such a small body. Another thing that the 80D did have, and I recently found it on my M50, and not only found it, but found it with more options, is the time-lapse option. The M50 gives you 3 different settings and custom settings for time lapses, which I'm looking forward to. There's one for tracking people, there's one for trying to catch the clouds and different things like that, and another one for moving subjects and things like that. So I'm excited to be using that because I love the time-lapse settings and the time-lapse options that these cameras have, because it makes it easier instead of having to pull out my phone, which is what I was previously using for time lapses. I can just set it up on this and I'm ready to go. Another thing that I have that I didn't really get too much into detail was the 4K, and the reason why I didn't get into the 4K that much is because with this camera, the dual pixel autofocus isn't something that works with the 4K. They use contrast detection for that, and it's probably not something that I'm going to be using very often, at least to upload to YouTube, just because first of all it takes a lot more space on my computer, and also if I'm going to be shooting myself, I want that dual pixel autofocus to be on point all the time. I don't want it to be trying to find me during certain situations and it not be able to find me. So the 4K is there, the 4K is present, but because of the dual pixel autofocus, I don't find it to be something that I'm gonna be getting into very much. One thing that I forgot to mention, and I just realized while I was shooting some B-roll in the car, is the image stabilization. In comparison to like DSLRs, it is so good to have image stabilization in a body. And if you have both the digital image stabilization and the lens image stabilization, sometimes it could be a little weird because it makes the footage look a little bit jello-y. So I'd rather keep just one of them on. And right now, for part of the B-roll that I shot, I only have the regular image stabilization, not the digital image stabilization. I turned that off after I saw one of the clips that I had recorded, and I saw that it looked a little bit jello-y. It was like dancing like this. As far as cons go, I would probably say that the only con that I have found with this camera, even though I haven't used it that much, has been the fact that the battery life on it isn't as good as my ADD was. So that's something that I'm not looking forward to, but I did get some spare batteries, so I should be okay. Anytime I'm out shooting with friends or anything like that, I bought 2 spare batteries, which should cover me pretty much all day. And I have the ability to be able to charge inside the car because I can just plug in a USB adapter to that. And that's pretty much all I got for you guys as far as the Canon M50 goes. Now we're gonna get to the park and I'm just gonna shoot some things. I might try to get some 720p at 120. I'm gonna try to get some 4K footage, and I'm gonna downgrade it to my resolution, which is 1080 by 24 frames per second. So that way you guys can get an idea of what you guys are gonna be getting out of this camera. I probably won't be using the 120 at 720 frames per second on a regular basis, but just so you guys can get an idea, I want to give you guys a preview of that. If anything, what I'll probably end up doing, which is most likely what I'll end up doing, is I'll be slowing down my 60 frames per second to 40%, so that way I get the 1080 that would potentially look better in this camera. But that's it for now, so I hope you guys enjoy the footage that I'm gonna have for you guys with this camera. Enjoy. So I guess the last thing that I have to say about this camera is, as you guys have heard before, as I stated earlier in this video, it's a great camera with a lot of benefits. There were some things that I didn't really do with this camera, just because once you get it, you'll probably notice, if you haven't gotten it already, that some of the settings you have to go into video mode for, and some other settings you have to go into manual mode for, so it's kind of a pain to navigate sometimes. So the only thing that I really did was the 24 frames per second. I didn't really do a lot of the time lapses because that's something you have to switch back to video mode for. But if you guys want to see that, leave some comments down in the description below. I can definitely throw some time lapses with this camera on here. This is going to be pretty much my all-around camera for vlogging and for anything else that really has to do with video. I just love the size beyond all things. It's just huge, and the fact that I'm not really missing out on anything that I would be if I have a DSLR is just amazing. And also because, like I told you guys before, I ended up getting the adapter, which I'm going to also do a review on. Another thing that I'm going to do a review on is lenses. I am currently using the lens that I got on the side. That is not the kit lens, the 11-22, but I'm going to be showing you guys what it is like having both lenses, the kit lens and the 11-22. So you guys can get an idea. The 11-22 is not actually fully necessary, but I do like the fact that I'm able to provide more view of what it is around me, of what is around me, and what I'm currently working with. So hope you guys enjoy this video. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up button. And if you like this channel, I'm going to be doing some reviews. Some camera gear review. I'm going to be doing a ton of reviews on the M50 just because it's the camera that, after all my trials and search and everything, has been the one that I have been satisfied with the most. So there's going to be some more reviews coming up, so subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take it easy. Peace. Hey, about to get some sunset action over here.
Hills are alive with the sound of music.
At the top of George Hill, we're headed up right now, and Gabby's, as you can see, quite excited. And instead of my Joby Gorilla Pod, I'm holding on to my tripod because that's what I'm going to set up right now for the time lapse. And enjoy.